Best Boys, the film podcast, an amateur film study podcast for the average Joe, the buffest buffs, and the cringiest bingers. I'm your host JP, and I'm joined by my brother, professional Hollywood videographer
Kory with a story, and you all are coming with me, dead or alive. Let's do it.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me. You're coming with D's.
Nuts. And then it just
And he shoots your nuts off.
Or I was thinking something else, but yeah, that happens too.
Your nuts are coming with D's.
Oh man, we'll talk about that scene because it's funny. But yeah, this Robocop. How many dicks get shot? That's the real question. I counted 2, but we'll leave the pixel peepers out there to really tell us.
Yeah, there was more than one. There was more than one, and that's about all I can say. Yeah, so we are doing today for the first episode of Boomfest. Yep, I also forgot to make a soundboard, which next year maybe we'll get around to it. But we're going to do a few successive episodes, as we did last July, that are going to be hardcore action films. And usually we started on the 4th of July weekend. We are a few days late, but that's okay. We're going to play catch up here and get a few big bangers out. And the first thing that came to mind is 2 movies that I've been wanting to watch for a while. Actually, one of them, Robocop, was on basic cable, heavily edited. And we keep getting sucked in. They have Robocop marathons on the weekend, but they're just all, basic cable edited. And so I'm like telling, my partner, we gotta see the real thing. Like, you don't really know until you see the real thing. So I've been saving the real thing for the podcast. And honestly, when I thought of Boomfest, I was like, we got to do Verhoven because I really want to show her this. And then also, I really wanted to show her Starship Troopers because of some relevant fascist propaganda that I think is pretty wild. I feel like it keeps aging better and better every time I watch it. But I don't want to spoil too much about that. But I really needed to give you that background for why we're doing this one first from Boomfest. What is your experience with Mr. Paul Verhoven?
Originally and
man.
only. Yeah, I didn't realize how old he was. But originally, Starship Troopers. But now looking at the filmography, Hollow Man was a wild film because I remember there was a very weird invisible man blowjob scene that was very unsettling. But then what I didn't realize though is that he did do RoboCop and Total Recall and Basic Instinct. So which is nuts because there's like
a lot of horny, trashy movies.
Total Recall's trashy, you think?
A little bit, yes, absolutely. But it's
I haven't seen it in ages. I haven't seen it since I was younger.
It's good trash, and I think that's what his thing is. Is art trash is absolutely his thing. All these movies, RoboCop, Total Recall, Basic Instinct, Showgirls, Starship Troopers, Hollow Man, all like trying to make art out of trash, like basic, low common denominator stuff. But there's like a layer that is more, that's going on here, and So I think that's what I really am drawn to art like that. So I was very interested in revisiting these. It honestly was a hard decision of Total Recall. I wanted to include Total Recall, and if we ever do another episode of him, say if we did Showgirls, which is pretty infamous, we should definitely do Total Recall. Because I've seen that movie a million trillion times. I've seen these 2 movies also a million times. More so even Starship Troopers. Because I think maybe it was new when I think I saw it in theaters, actually. I'm pretty sure I've seen it in theaters.
Really? Wow. Yeah, you would have been 8. So I mean, I believe it. Dad took us both to America to see when we were kids, Team America World Police. So I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but then there were other times like when I went to see Mortal Kombat, which was just a few years earlier, and cried in the movie theater. So we had to go see Babe. So there was mixed results. I'm almost certain, but it was a very early memory. But I think I've seen this. I saw this movie in the theaters because I remember moments of that. But I don't want to get too far into what's actually in the movie. So RoboCop, did not see RoboCop in theaters. I think maybe I saw one of the later ones as a kid, but I don't really remember. But the first one, never saw. It was made before I was born, obviously. But I remember it as a core thing. Like RoboCop was always around. Like I think there were probably cartoons and comics and like I think we've mentioned this before, but the
We had a
'90s
toy.
were all about selling the cool shit from the '80s to us in kids form. So like think about Alien, Predator, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Toxic Avenger, all kinds of fucking shit.
Because the '90s was extreme, and all
Yeah.
that shit was as extreme as can be.
And RoboCop as well. Mortal Kombat, like these things were not for kids when they first came out, but then they
I'm
became for kids.
I'm fairly certain we had a RoboCop action figure as a kid. I distinctly remember having like a 6-inch figure version,
I
like
think so
one.
too. I do think so as well. But he also his leg is very similar to the design of C-3PO, and maybe I'm thinking of having the
Because
C-3PO he destroyed with the baseball bat.
I remember that, but but no, I distinctly remember the face in having it. But nothing else RoboCop related. It was just one action figure that happened to be mixed in with our Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's possible. It is very possible.
but
So I mean, I remember RoboCop is like a core thing, and also I think of the movie Indian in the Cupboard, which I watched a million times,
wow, yeah, I
and
haven't seen that since I was a
that
kid.
was like one of those movies when I was a kid that I just watched it over and over again. I don't
Mm.
know how that's aged now, honestly. But the action figures in there, it was a Jurassic Park action figure. There was a RoboCop. There was a Darth Vader. And there was like a soldier or whatever, and they would all like fight when he made them alive. And I always remember that. That's like one of my core RoboCop memories. But as far as the movie, I
I
didn't realize how gory and dirty it is. Um,
Yeah,
and also how political. It is not a dumb movie. I mean, it is on the surface, and anyone could watch this movie and just come away with it with just dumb fun enjoyment, and it is done well, and it's very entertaining. But there is definitely a big message about capitalism and police, and policing and crime and all that shit. And I think it's done really, really well. Like it's like a satire and a commentary, but it's done in just this super super entertaining way. But yeah, what do you think about RoboCop?
well, first off, I wanted to say that I remembered this movie completely different. Not completely, but like the intro specifically. I don't know why. I always remember like the way Murphy dies as like him being blown up in a car, and then it's like a dark like pavement where it like pans over to like a dead body with fire and stuff, and then he becomes RoboCop. So rewatching this, I was completely like, I don't know what the hell movie I thought I saw that was RoboCop. That was mixing
You
up with
might have
it.
been like the edit. Your main memory is like the edited version.
Yeah, like I don't know if there's like a separate intro on like the made for TV version,
No, I
but
don't think. I think it's just
uh,
made like they cut out all of that gore
yeah.
stuff.
Because I might be because I'm rewatching it. I think I associated the gas station blowing up scene with the original, like him
You
dying
like
thing.
you Mandela'd yourself.
Yeah. Oh man, that's been happening a lot lately. I've been Mandeling all over the place. But but um but back to that. The man, it was just so cool. I loved this so much. Having actually seeing the full thing. This was such a fun movie and a fun ride. And going in about the whole like because of the cops are the ones that or not the cops, this corporation got a contract to just run the police, is just such a wild like in the movie, like you could just take it at face value as whatever, but it's such a wild, like kind of dystopian, semi-realistic thing you could see in the future. And I feel like that adds that layer you were talking about, of just kind of like it could happen like that. Not obviously RoboCop itself, but just like the privatization of law enforcement and shit, and just like who checks them and all that stuff, because they do their own thing. They created a fucking bipedal tank that kills the guy in an office and no one gives a shit and just move on.
Well, it kind of like feels like that. Even already, like the cops kind of lack a decent amount of oversight, or they
Well, yeah,
protect
because the
their own,
unions shit,
yeah,
yeah,
they protect their
the
own and
qualified
all that.
immunity, yeah.
But this is even taking it a step farther. Like, whereas the state can't fund the police to adequately handle crime, so then a private corporation steps in. And then in turn, because like the other big B plot of the film is that they're trying to get people to move out of this certain area,
Old Detroit.
so that they can bring in workers, um, new workers for the corporation. And it's pretty much it's a straight gentrification.
Yeah, they're trying to build a new city called Delta 6, I think, and they called it. And it's like, got to create 1 million jobs or 2 million jobs or whatever. But it's really just to control all aspects of the city from one corporation.
And the second film kind of has. I think I might be mixing the worker part with the second film, which kind of just expands upon this storyline. It's actually a good sequel in that it's not a great movie, but it's a good sequel in that it's like the same fucking thing, just more. And like a little bit further, but not pretty much the same level of shit. But this one has just a perfect balance. And then there's the excess of the 80s, like the businessmen, the corrupt businessmen, and the cocaine, and
Yeah.
the Miguel Ferrer, who plays what the fuck is his name? Bob. Yeah, Bob. He is in Twin Peaks. He plays an asshole agent, and he
looked familiar.
He plays such a good asshole. Really does. And I think he died a few years ago. And he was in the Twin Peaks revival. I remember that because he was in the Twin Peaks revival, and then I think he died like not too long after that. But yeah, played such a good asshole, and it was like I don't know. But he's fun. Like he's an asshole, but he's a lot of fun, and I think that's what makes him work. So like yeah, the cast is good. What do you think about Peter Weller?
It's the first, like, watching the beginning of this movie is the first time I've seen him not as RoboCop's face, like the bald just face, like the Darth Vader face type thing.
See, I've only seen him in one other movie, and that's The Naked Lunch.
I've never even heard of that.
It's a Cronenberg movie based on a Burroughs book. It's weird as fuck. We're gonna have to watch it next time we do Cronenberg.
Oh, that sounds good to me. I like the more I've sat on Crimes of the Future, the more I liked it. Hot take, but
not me.
But no, I liked him in this though. He's very yeah, I mean, he's not really that much more animated than the RoboCop version of himself, but it makes that easy. I feel like that makes the transition when he starts becoming more like getting his personality back. It's easier to make him feel more human because he wasn't that animated pre-robot. If that makes sense.
Yeah, he was pretty subdued, but also I was thinking about his alien face, how it's like he's a really like thin, like his skull, like you can see the whole like the shape of his skull, like a classic skeleton where it goes out and then it comes in and down. Like his is super exaggerated. Like he's not a bad looking guy, but he's very alien looking. And
I think they call that unique.
It works really well with the prosthetics that they use to blend his skin into the RoboCop like tech head.
I spent half the movie trying, like once they took his helmet off, so the last third of the movie, just trying to figure out how they did the makeup to look that real.
They're able to do,
they're able to do so
skin.
well.
They're able to do skin well back then in the 80s. Like you think about Terminator 2,
yeah,
the first Terminator, even. they're getting pretty good at doing skin, and I think they're able to blend his face pretty seamlessly, like with some extra skin stuff over to make it look like his skin was wrapping around
Yeah.
that thing.
But it was done very well. I think honestly the whole design of RoboCop holds the test of time. Like it, in my opinion, like it doesn't feel dated in any way. The
Oh
only
no
thing that
no.
I would say feels dated about it is just the way he walks is a little too like clunky. I think like if you were to make this now, but use the
Well,
same
yeah,
design,
because
it
he'd
feels a
still get
little
his
more
ass
fluid.
kicked even if he walked that because like he walked that slow,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Like
But
there's
in the no,
like
I was gonna
you're
say, and then like sorry, good.
just finish what you say.
I was gonna say, and like the whole like he has to throw his arm up to be able to shoot a shot. That was like a little clunky and weird, just kind of like that. Gaga,
Oh,
gaga,
he's a very stiff
gaga.
robot, like
Yeah,
classical, like stiff
yeah,
robot. But also like, you have to remember there's a big, I don't know what the metaphor allegory. It's very for Frankenstein. Is what he's supposed to be reminiscent of. Like he's literally a Frankenstein monster
yeah.
that is brought to life. He moves like a Frankenstein. Like that's what I
Mm,
kept thinking about. Like yeah, he moves like a robot.
that's a good point.
Riss pointed out too, is that but he moves like a Frankenstein, and he's a literal fucking monster. But he's trying to like reconcile his humanity and his technology. Like there's honestly like a lot that really goes into this character, what it represents, and I think it's interesting.
Mm.
He's authority. He's a symbol of authority, but he's something different. I saw some wild like interpretations of the film. And I didn't look deep enough into them, but apparently there's like this thing in the 80s where it's called like hard-bodied men, and that there are a lot of films in the 80s that are the main character is a hard-bodied like Superman, macho man that protects soft-bodied people. And I didn't read much farther into it than that, but I thought it was super fucking interesting, because that is absolutely a thing. But whether it was muscles, with like Rocky or Predator or whatever, Commando, or Rambo, but also
Yeah,
this because he's literally like a giant armored man.
yeah. He's massive in this. I didn't really remember how wide they made him until watching this. And he's like when they do that tease when he's first walking through the police station, and he's just like a fucking unit.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
huge.
it's crazy. But I was gonna
They make
say,
him look huge at least.
yeah, they did a good job with that. But I was gonna say, going back to the Finding Humanity stuff, I like that they didn't dive crazy into it. Like I feel like in a more modern movie, even they'd push this to like 2 hours and add more like background to it. But I like that it's just really the little dream thing kind of gets him going, and then he ends up at his house and just does a little bit of like remembering, and like that's enough. That's all he needs,
Yeah,
and
the
that's what we as the
runtime
audience
in
need.
this movie is mwah.
Perfect.
Like
Yes,
yeah, like
so perfect.
and like it just comes full circle, and it doesn't feel like it went fast. It just felt like it was appropriately structured, and yeah, they could have dwelled more on that stuff and been more introspective, but that would have made it shittier. Like it flows
Mhm,
so well, the action, like the cerebral stuff, just like the shock of the gore and the violence.
mhm.
Um,
And I
it
also like that it doesn't take time to really fucking we don't have to follow RoboCop going from place to place a lot of times. Like when he leaves the house, he just ends up in the club, like that punk club. And I like that. We just cut right to it. Cuz it's just, you're just skipping the shit that you don't need cuz it breaks the flow of the film, and it's just like at every single point where I felt like I was at a certain point in the film, I checked the time and I was exactly where I thought I was, which is rare, I feel like lately. Um
Yeah. I wanted to real quick finish talking about the cast because other than Miguel Ferrer and Peter Weller, I wanted to first bring up Ronnie Cox, who plays Dick Jones. I think Ronnie Cox is also the bad guy in Total Recall, and is also I think the bad guy in other movies. And I think he might be in Beverly Hills Cop, or something like that. But man, he plays a
it would
good asshole, a real good
yeah,
asshole.
Does he play like the Axel's boss in Police or not Police Academy?
Yeah, I think he's like, isn't he the
Beverly
chief
Hills Cops.
in the Beverly Hills Chief?
Yeah, so I think so. At least he would fit that, if not. But yeah, he's great. He hams it up in all the right ways. Like especially like when they go to Bob's house, when Red from that '70s show goes to Bob's house to kill him, and he puts the tape on, and it's just like it's just a perfect amount of ham. He's like, you're probably already on your knees begging for your life right now, and I chuckle at that. That's I like it. And he just does not give a shit about anyone's actual lives, just even in like the way he reacts when the robot does the fucks up the demonstration in the beginning. He's not upset because the person died. He's upset because it's delaying.
Yeah, like his thing fucked up and it delayed.
Yeah.
He's not even like really worried about it malfunctioning. It's just that it looked bad, so it's not gonna, his project's not gonna. It's been delayed,
Yeah.
and now the Robocop thing happens and is a success, and it kind of overtakes his mech thing. Love the design of Edie. I think it's a mech design that absolutely holds up. It's very reminiscent. Like there's stuff like that in Warhammer, stuff like that in video games. It is a pretty
stop motion held up too.
Yeah, I would say that it didn't look terrible at all. Like it looked fine. It looked fine, but it was definitely like they weren't gonna. You wouldn't do that today.
No.
You would probably CG it. But it looks. I do have and I am somebody who usually likes miniatures and really appreciative of miniatures because I think there are in times they make things look so much more realistic than CG. But yeah, it was fine. It was cool. Then Nancy Allen, I think, plays Anne Lewis. His partner. And she's great. She's a good character. She's kind of like the she's not in it as much as I remember. But she's definitely in the beginning and in the end, and she shows up at times to call Murphy back to his humanity.
I like that when they first meet. It's not that significant, but I just like that when Murphy first gets assigned with her and they go to the car. And he's just like, yeah, I like to drive when I'm breaking in a new partner, as if she's the new person, even though he just got transferred. It's stupid, but I just like the line. I thought it was cool.
We were talking about how they really set up these little ticks that Murphy as human Murphy he had. Like he twirled the gun, and like when he drove, he drove so he was driving fast and he skid and it made sparks come out of the parking lot, and like those kinds of things. And when he was Robocop, he did the exact same things. Like it was like he was Robo Man, and then all of a sudden these little mannerisms would come through, and like he did that the exact same way he did that at the beginning of the movie.
It's like trained muscle memory.
The beginning, I think, is honestly, he's human in this movie longer than I remember. That opening sequence when he gets shot is so long.
Brutal.
And fucking crazy. Like just like so many gunshots and I think that anyone who got shot by a shotgun that many times would be blown apart much faster than he was.
Just the bullet to the head straight up at the end. Like the brain would not have survived that. That was a pretty dead-on skull shot from only like a couple feet away. But man, though, I did not remember any of that part at all. Like I feel like I've never seen that part. Because fucking you start with the handoff, and then the next thing you know, like I'm watching them like explode, and I'm paying attention to the body, not really thinking else. I'm just watching squibs go off. And then when they cut to him just on his knees, his whole his whole right arm is gone. And I was like, Jesus Christ, they shot his whole arm off on top of like all the other shit.
Yeah.
And the gore is done so well. Like sometimes squibs look a little bit ridiculous, and this obviously is way over the top with how many bullets they pumped into it. But it felt all
like it's supposed to be stylized. Like it's like John Woo. I was thinking about it in John Woo terms. Like it's definitely stylized gore. At least in that moment.
Yeah, but it's not over the top like Quentin Tarantino squibs, which are just like a man flies across the room and just gigantic hole. Like this is like a nice balance between like that and realism in a nice
And you
like
could tell that it was like a
aesthetic.
prosthetic, like Peter
Oh, for
Weller is
sure.
like once his arm is blown off, he looked a little like weirdly widely shaped,
Yeah.
because he's such a skinny guy. Also, I wanted to bring up last thing about the cast is Kurtwood Smith as the main villain, the true main villain of the movie, Clarence Boddicker, who is known for playing Red, the dad on that '70s show. And man, is he such a good fucking villain. So, like, just such a evil guy. The line that sticks out to me in the whole movie is "bitches leave." And he just tells the women that are with Bob to leave before he kills them.
Yep.
We laughed and laughed, and it was just, obviously he's a piece of shit. So I think like you shouldn't talk like that to women. But
Obviously.
it was so funny. I don't know, it made me laugh.
It was just like of all the things to say when you're coming in to kill somebody, it's just something as simple as
It
just
sounded like
bitches leave.
Chappelle show. It sounded like Chappelle
Exactly.
show. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I got to laugh back in the day when it came out too. He's a character. He's got like, he's not necessarily charming, but he's got this kind of twisted, like little swagger, charisma about him, that he like carries himself with, which is like he's a piece of shit, but I love seeing him on screen.
Yeah, excellent. I love seeing him on screen. Absolutely love it. I can't get enough of it, honestly. And yeah. So I don't know if there's anything we really want to what do we want to touch on specifically. I feel like we kind of in talking about the cast, we've kind of went through and talked about a lot of the movie. But I don't know, I love it. I think it's excellent. I think it is aged really well. And it is an all-time action sci-fi classic. Up there with some of those other movies we were talking about, Predator and Terminator, and Aliens and all that, like in Jurassic Park, and those are some fucking great movies that were very popular and accessible. And they all were made in, like, I guess there were I'm smashing like 15 years together, but it's a lot of good, really strong stuff. And and then I think a lot of that was like force fed to us through reruns on television and movie rentals and whatever. So we just saw them all a million times.
I will say though that about this that I thought I was surprised of how I don't know how to, I haven't figured out how to word it, but I keep coming back to like not that much happens, or at least seemingly in the movie, if that makes sense. Like it just kind of, and I don't know if it's just because we've been watching a lot of movies that have a lot of things going on at once, but it just felt very, and not in a bad way. It was just kind of like, it was, bam, he gets killed right from the go, and then like even the beginning of the movie just starts with the title, and then you're just in, and then immediately you get a little bit of background in the police station, and or I'm sorry, with the news stuff, and then it goes right into the police station, and then out in the field, dies. He's RoboCop within like 3 minutes. All that's like that montage is done, and then it just goes. He's immediately out in the street killing people, but then it's immediately bam, we're in like the main plot antagonist already.
Well, it was like he was like getting to, like there was like him training, essentially, like the training part of the movie, which is in all these kind of movies. Like he's figuring himself out, and then he's like he finds his humanity and gets in touch with that, and then he has the battle with the guy. He decides that he wants to find the people that killed him and bring them to justice. And that's his thing, and it leads him the whole way up to the beginning of the movie. It kind of comes full circle to Ronnie Cox.
I think why I feel like it has not, why it seems like not that much happens is now that as you were saying that, I was just like, all of the sections are nice and short. Like they're just nice. Like nothing is long and drawn out.
Yeah, it's clean. It's a simple narrative. It really, it's not complex.
I like that.
And then I think that's what makes the movie good, is that it's not long. It's narratively structured simply, and even in terms of like, I don't know, the genre, it's kind of like it's hard to say what's archetypal and what's influential to other things, because this is definitely an influential film to mainstream stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think that its simplicity is what makes it work for it. It is like minimal in some ways, and it makes it say big things because of that. You know, whether it's the things you can imagine about you know, what he represents, or the capitalist stuff with the police, and like there's big ideas in this movie, and they made it kind of like. And I'm sure this wasn't cheap to do all this stuff special effects wise and whatnot. We didn't talk about budget or anything. That was a $13.7 million budget in 1987.
Pretty good.
So yeah, and you can tell like everything looks great, but at the same time, like you can only make a movie so big with the special effects like this good for 1987. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense.
No. I agree. I think this is everything is used perfectly, and because you don't have a long runtime, that's more money getting to be put into other things. And everything is so like we were saying, and they reuse locations too. The steel mill thing gets reused twice.
In the office, it's a couple of
it's not a whole
times.
lot of locations.
No, it's the police station, the corporate office, and the steelyard thing. And then there's a couple scenes like the nightclub scene, which is hilarious, and like scenes on the street with various house. Crime people.
He visits his house, but like they're all quick and small. Like they're not like full fledged like things going on there. They're just like quick dressed. You're in and out. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of crazy money and set design that needs to go into it. But man, where the money did go well is that Toxic Avenger moment at the end of the movie. I thought,
which is awesome. Pretty much just random as fuck, but awesome. And like those are the kinds of things like random flourishes like that really add to it.
Did you notice that when Red's car hits him that he liquefies? He doesn't. I love this detail. He doesn't just smack and splatter or whatever. He gets hit and liquefies because he's already melting.
It looks like a slushy. Yeah, he looks like a slushy.
Yeah, it was so smart. I thought that was super cool. Like a nice touch.
Super cool. That is one of the most famous parts. Also, I know I said that Miguel Ferrer is from Twin Peaks, but also the guy who plays Leland Palmer, I forgot his name, the actor's name, Ray Wise. He is in this movie, and then the CEO of OCP, he's also in Twin Peaks. He plays Mr. Packard.
I wonder if there's I wonder if he's like friends with Lynch or something, because Kyle MacLachlan's in Showgirls. Another Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, maybe they must be friends.
Yeah, using similar casting, but the cast is great. I think this is a perfect cast. I love the goons. I know just for like some last little notes. The Red's goons are awesome. The one dude with the high pitched laugh, the
hyena laugh.
He gets the same car as Red, and then Red just blows it up. Like I love that. They're all just like characters and fun. Or like the guy he doesn't like the reflection on the window of the TV he's watching, so he just breaks the window and sits back down to finish watching the TV. Like little things like that, like gave those guys like little personality. I like. Yeah, this is fun. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I think it's big, but somehow it's simple at the same time. And I think that's what makes it so good. And it's runtime, 102 minutes. Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Love it. Love it.
Do you have any last things you want to say about RoboCop that we may have missed? It was obviously a huge blockbuster. Also, it made $53 million.
Yeah, Jesus, like quadrupled his budget. But no, I think I'm good. The only thing I was going to say was if you're on the Wikipedia for RoboCop and scroll down, I can't stop thinking that the picture of old Peter Weller looks just like the Man in Black from.
Well, yeah, he does. He just looks similar. Him and Ed Harris are similar looking. Yeah, they're similar looking people. Especially now that they're older, they look even more alike.
Yeah, at least you can say I don't have face blindness. I know you think that I have that sometimes, but I'm getting it.
A little bit
I'm
of
getting better.
yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I'm excited to one day watch Naked Lunch because you can see Peter Weller as Peter Weller, and he's so fucking weird in that movie. It changes the way I think about RoboCop now.
Now, Peter Weller's not the voice of Optimus Prime in the original Transformers, right? That's
No,
a different Peter.
I don't know who the fuck that is, and nor do I care.
The voice of, like he's like the voice of Optimus Prime from since the '80s until now. I can't.
I mean,
But
I know who that guy is. He's voiced like the one thing. It's not pertinent to this podcast.
for some reason, I always thought that this was the same guy, but like the voices are completely different.
All right. Well, can you score this goddamn movie?
4 out of 5.
Don't stop googling Optimus Prime. 4 out of 5. Wow.
I really like it. It's fun. It doesn't have a lot of drawbacks.
No, I was thinking maybe higher. But I think I'm gonna do 4.5 out of 5.
Interesting. And the answer was Peter Cullen.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. I'm sure someone could have commented it or something. You should have left the mystery out there.
Yeah, but it's a Peter. That's what got me. But
all right, well,
yeah, I think it deserves a 4.5. I see that. I guess I gave it because I didn't feel like I was like absolutely blown away, but I just had so much fun.
It's just so done. It's just done so well. It's a 9 perfect film. I think that it's simplicity, and it's like dumb. It's dumb smart. You know, like I don't know, like there's smart dumb and dumb smart. This is the one that's good. Like this is the one that is good. Like it is, like this Joe Rogan. I think that's like some pretend smart shit for dumb people. Or he sounds smart to dumb people. But this is dumb. This seems dumb, but it's actually smart.
Yeah.
Seems smart, but it's dumb. It's Joe Rogan.
It's as smart
seems dumb, but actually is pretty smart.
Yeah. It's a scale
Robocop.
with it. It scales to where your IQ is. It's as deep as you want.
Yeah, and honestly, that is in life as a fan of art and a maker of art in my time. Those are my favorite things. Period. That can appeal to the highest of brow and the lowest of brow. That they and this does that. And we're good, and it's good. So yeah, 4.5 is what I'm giving it.
Nice. I'm down with it. We also didn't mention that there was an awesome scene. Well, the scene setup is not awesome, but what RoboCop does is awesome. This lady is getting attacked by 2 guys, and he's like holding the girl hostage. And RoboCop, like, he notices that the girl is standing like with her legs apart, and so he aims like right into her dress where it wouldn't hit her, and it goes right through, and it shoots the guy's dick. Like square. There's a big blood thing off of it. I thought it was just like so clever way to do that. Also, the guy who dies from the bipedal thing in the beginning of the movie, he gets shot in the chest first, but once he's on the table, that thing just blows his dick for a solid like 4 shots. That's really funny.
But in the original dick shot, I do want to add that this is the first time I caught that he says "protect the innocent." And he's trying to protect this woman from being raped, like literally protecting her innocence. And says shooting the dick specifically is how he can effectively protect the innocent. So it's like his interpretation of that directive. I thought, which were very, very broad directives. I thought that was interesting. But all right.
Yeah, that is
so let us move on to a movie that I am actually really excited to talk about. Wasn't like thought it was gonna be a fine movie to talk about beforehand, but actually I'm more excited to talk about it now that I've watched it again. And that is Starship Troopers, which came out in the year of our Lord 1997.
I love this movie so much.
Yeah. So there were times in my life where I just classified this movie as a B movie, like a high budget B movie, essentially sci-fi, entertaining, but not great, really, cheesy, not great acting, whatever. It's still good though, still a tasty hot dog of a snack. Then I've come to realize and understand all of the imagery, especially in the newsreels. The newsreels used to just be like, oh, these are like World War II newsreels. Oh, okay, this is like America mixed with Nazi Germany, and Brazil. Like all those three things mixed is the Earth Federation. Like I kind of got that basic level, but I didn't really think about it any further than that. But it is a very, very interesting tale. This world is incredibly political, and there is a statement being made about it. And I think that there is the initial way that you can take it, and then there is, I think, the actual intended interpretation. But before I get into any of that, I already revealed to you this is one of my early theater memories. What do you got for me about Starship Troopers?
I remember just watching this as a kid. Dad would put it on, and it was just as a kid, it had all the action that you wanted with all the bugs and shit like that. And I just remember being like watching it. Those the World War II style ads were like telling kids to sign up for the army and like squishing bugs and like I do my part and all that shit. And it just thinking it was just so like cool or whatever. And then watching it again in like high school and just thinking like how you're saying it's more like a B movie, but it's like, but it's still good. It has like the right amount of action and dumb fun to like, I think still hold its own. But then rewatching it in college, and I just watched this again last year with a movie night with my friends, and man, it was just like seeing it with just like brand new eyes, like a brand new view of the movie. And it's hilarious how just like on the nose fucking stuff it takes it does on just like American like over nationalism, patriotism shit, and just like the military complex thing, and it's just all woven into one, and it's just so like so smart. And at the same time, like what I don't know if I like to think it's an intentional casting where you have such a white looking guy supposed to be playing a guy from Brazil.
Well, it's supposed to be saying that the world is blended racially. That we're in a post-racial society. That's what. Yeah. So the Earth Federation is at a point where race isn't as much of a thing. It's all about whether you're have served, whether you're a veteran or you are not a veteran. Because so like that's what I wanted to get into. These are the things I didn't understand before, is how deep the political system in this world goes. And it's really based, this is an adaptation of a novel called the same, Starship Troopers by Robert Heinlein. I do have a copy of it. It is much more, it is not completely the same, but it is not a satire in any way, shape, or form. So the system of government is the same, but the way that it's portrayed in this world is a little bit different. So you have to serve in the military to be able to vote in this world. So let alone hold office of any kind. Is essentially one political party, all military. It also is indicated by other characters in this world that population is regulated and births are regulated. So you need a license to be able to have children, and that if you obviously there's preferential treatment to those who have served in the military. It is easier to get a birth license. So essentially you are a second-class citizen if you do not serve in the military. And so that's the whole thing, is that the military run everything. That they run the economy, they run certain elements of the economy. They run government, they run education, etc. So in the opening scene, where Mr. Ratchak, who is played by Michael Ironside, who this is the first movie that I remember him in. Michael Ironside, probably also Total Recall, but now that I've seen him in Scanners, that's all I think of him for, is being the head exploder. But he gives this big lecture about how violence solves so many problems, and it's the number one, solver of problems in history, something like that. And there's lots of stuff about violence. You hear that the punishments the characters get, it's not just the military, but just regular crime is either whippings, lashings in the street, or just execution. And I'm sure in the book it goes further, but in the movie those are the only two examples that we get. Is that incarceration is not preferred, as opposed to corporal punishment. But other than that, they try to portray it as it's working so perfectly, etc. Though you do notice that many of the older characters that are veterans are all maimed. They all have injuries. The one professor is blind. Mr. Ratchak's missing an arm. There's another man who's registering people, and he's missing an arm and legs. It seems to be pretty common, that what comes with service is you sacrifice your body for your country. I don't know. I find all of this super, super fascinating. This, if you weren't familiar, this is a certain flavor of fascist government. And at first it kind of portrays this as, this is fully functional. This is good. This is everyone's smiling teens playing football and having sex, and
it
love
starts
triangles.
like a teen drama.
Yeah, it's very much of the time. It's really done well. Very done well of the time. And then it slowly reveals itself that the humans are fucking dumb. They are very arrogant. So I don't know if you want, I know I've been talking for a while. I'm going to pass it back to you, but I don't know if you noticed that the whole war that the movie is about, the war with the bugs, it's not that the bugs are invading our areas of space. It's that we're invading theirs, and then they're fighting back. They throw the asteroids at the planet, which Riz pointed out. We don't even know if they're actually doing that. Like, these just could be asteroids coming from that direction. And they're just using propaganda, which this movie is full of propaganda, to convince people this is why they need to invade the bug planets.
It's limited information, information restricted, whatever it's called, where you're curating what the people know to shape to get what you want out of it.
Well, who knows what if all the government is stupid, or if it's just like Trump shit. Like, you don't know how many people are corrupt, and you don't know how many are just trying to grift, and how many people are stupid and just believe the grift.
And I probably just for resources, because that's just what all mankind greed is always for, of something or another. But
I just want to keep spreading, keep domination of the universe.
Yeah, we need to be able to send mission trips to Mars. Spread the Christianity, the gospel. I was just thinking of the Sally Struthers South Park thing when I think of just like humankind expansion. But yeah, no, I love going back to what you're saying about how the satire thing. I was gonna say, the whole thing is made to just seem like this is just so fun at all points, and it really doesn't become not fun until Rico gets severely injured and put in the back to tank. Really,
well, that's I want to talk about that point in the movie, but continue.
But it's just it's so ridiculous how if this was not if not for the satire, this would be such a dystopian movie and feeling to it. But and I'm sure that's how the book is like. I have not read it, but Just knowing if I remember reading an article or something that the author hates the movie, but
because it's making fun of the book.
Yeah.
Like it's using the source material, but it's also like a satirization of the source material.
But I like that it's just holding a mirror to itself, essentially.
Of
current cultural society, and that's just why I think this movie's so genius and so funny.
Yeah, it really is. It really is genius. I keep thinking it. I think that, like, I don't know. This time around, this movie flew by. It's longer than Robocop.
It's longer than remembered.
It's longer than remembered. Honestly, for us, it flew by. We thought it felt shorter than Robocop. We thought, we watched them on separate nights, and we were like, man, this was such a good, interesting movie. Because, like, you're interested in the teen shit, even though you know how it goes. Like, there's something in the base, dumb level of you that likes that. There's the action and the horror of it that is really interesting. But it's a lot of fun. Like, it's a lot of fun in these moments of brutality, and that's what fascist propaganda is it's sugarcoating horrible atrocity with teens and smiling beautiful people and whatever. It packages it in this commercialized kind of coding, and it makes it seem like, oh, this isn't so bad, this is actually really great, everyone's having fun, they're also happy and having a good time and having fun. And it's just like high school. It's just like military is just like high school. That is definitely the vibe, even though that like a dude gets killed, a dude gets his arm broke as soon as they fucking get there, a dude gets a knife thrown into his hand.
Jake Busey gets shot in the face.
A dude gets whipped. Jake Busey doesn't get shot in the face. He's in the movie till the end.
Okay, never mind. I'm thinking of somebody else then. In the training exercise when the gun.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The guy that gets shot. It's the farm guy.
Yeah. That's right.
And you watched this for this, right? You didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you watched it recently?
Yeah, I watched this past week.
Okay, I thought you said that last time you watched it was last year or something.
No. I was saying I happened to watch it recently, so it was an easy watch, just like putting it on to get the refresher.
Yeah. But yeah, it is that point, and I wanted to write the time down when the Rico thing happens, and there's even a fake out with Carmen, and honestly, I don't like the Carmen fake out where they make it seem like she dies too right before, and somehow she's just fine with a scar on her face in the next scene. You know what I'm talking about? I always had a problem with that, and then so like they make it seem like she dies, and then they show Rico die, and then they reveal that they're both alive. And I thought that was super. Obviously with Rico it was done well, but I thought it was weird with Denise Richards.
Because they don't really explain anything. It's just like
with her they don't at all. And then the same thing happens later in the movie too, and that makes them crash again. Which is weird, which I thought was weird. Even as a kid when I saw this, I thought that didn't make any sense. But everything else was great, and like that is the point in the movie where everyone's like, oh shit, like we've been in the shit, we have to take this seriously. And again, I think that is a thing in military. Like you go through boot camp and they get you all hyped up and excited and like you're gonna take on the world, and we put you through all this training, you're gonna kick ass. It reminds me of the beginning of Attack on Titan, because they do the exact same thing.
Oh yeah,
where they're like, you go through this hard ass boot camp and you guys are tough now and you're ready to fight and you're going to be able to do it, and then they throw them out into the shit and they get crushed. I wouldn't be surprised if Attack on Titan was influenced by the way that the Starship Troopers thing was handled. It's the same exact thing. It is literally the same thing. Like you have this big long boot camp where everyone becomes friends, and then they go out into the first battle and like almost all of those friends die. Immediately, and then they get transferred to another thing. Another thing I watched recently was Band of Brothers, which I believe came out after Starship Troopers. But the way that I think there's a lot of stuff that just works with stories of war and the effects of war. It's just like between those moments, you got people playing neon violins and having sex and whatever. Oh, the one thing. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I was just gonna say to go on to your like when they like the boys become men moment. Essentially, is like when Michael Ironside dies and when the bugs are.
They've already on their way by that point, but that's when he becomes the leader. Then that's like he fully transforms.
Yeah, because he just like from there on, he's just like hard ass, and there's time skips in this movie that they just kind of happen. I feel like because he just becomes like he goes from being like in that moment to just like running the show like completely. It feels like
that's the thing. He becomes essentially Michael Ironside, and that's same with Denise Richards. Like she kind of becomes the captain,
her bot,
etc.
But I like that. That's just kind of it's showing you the cyclical nature of how it's structured. You know what I mean? It's just all they need to do is inspire one person to take over to keep the factory running and keep the meat grinder going, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, then that's kind of how the military works. And like we were talking about, I was bringing up Band of Brothers because the main character gets field promotion after field promotion, just like Rico does. Like he starts out as just a regular guy, and then he's squad leader, and then he's whatever, then he's whatever, then he's whatever, then he's a captain. He's a captain by the end of it. In like World War II, that shit just happened because people died, and you needed to fill those roles immediately. And if you did a good job, you got to keep the job. Kind of stuff. And all that was pretty cool, pretty cool. But then it's just the mix of brutal reality of war, the folly of nationalism, fascism, and militarism, and what the stupid shit that leads you into. And yeah, the newsreels are because like the newsreels are World War II, but also they're straight propaganda. And even when they were newsreels in World War II for the U.S., it's still United States propaganda. Trying to keep morale up for the people at home in the war effort.
Keeping a clear and defined enemy.
Yeah. Well, like you won't fight amongst yourselves if you have an other to focus your hate and your blame on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It has aged. I think it ages better all the time. Oh, I wanted to say also about the newsreels. I noticed that there was like a mouse cursor and like little tabs.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of like transitions the news. It transitions the newsreel to YouTube and memes. I think, which are the current form of propaganda, by far. And
like rabbit hole clicking.
Like back in the World War II is posters and flyers and newsreels and whatnot. But now it is memes, and all that kind of shit.
Clickbait.
YouTube, shit, fake articles.
Yeah, it's all clickbait headline. It's like the thumbnails grabbing you type shit. Like
yellow journalism,
shit like that. But man, I wanted to talk about the cast real quick, about Johnny Rico, who was supposed to be the next like Jean-Claude Van Damme type man. And
why didn't that work out for old Casper?
I don't know.
He's also in Sleepy Hollow. He has not a big role, but he has like a small. He looks like he's on. I don't know where he's on the credits, but I remember seeing a trailer and it making it look like he had a big part, but he doesn't. But he's in Sleepy Hollow, which I think is after this.
I haven't seen Sleepy Hollow, but
it's good.
Is that
it's Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp. I was about to say, is it Johnny Depp? I think I've seen stuff from it, but
I think it's a Tim Burton movie.
It might be.
Yeah, I think it's a Tim Burton movie.
But anyways, I think he's great in this movie. He hams it up in all the right ways.
It is.
Fucking, especially towards the end when he's just like being more of the captain dude, just getting everybody riled up.
He's not a great actor though. He's stiff.
But I think for this it works.
It works for this, and I think that's what they all were. Honestly, like a lot of these people. I looked the actress that plays Dizzy, Dina Meyer. She was in Beverly Hills 90210. Jake Busey's great comic relief. Honestly, I wonder what the fuck happened to him. I feel like his
He's in
dad.
Stranger Things. He's in Stranger Things season
Shut
3.
your mouth. Shut your mouth. He's in. No way.
Yeah,
He's got
Stranger
to
Things
be
season 3. He's
old
not.
now.
He's 50 something, 52. Because Kylie and I looked this up because I was like, "Is that Jake Busey?" And we looked it up, and she told me he's in his 50s, and I was like, "Shut up, he's that old." But then I forgot that like this movie, he's fucking he's still looking. He's like 30 or something already, or
That's
like
how it
20.
was when the what the fuck is the name of the actor from Scooby Doo that plays
Matthew
Shaggy.
Lillard.
Matthew
Matthew
Lillard
Lillard.
is it? Matthew Lillard is in Twin Peaks Revival, and he plays this like principal guy, and he looks old, and it looks so weird. He looks like his age, and it's so wild. And that's like how many years ago now? It's like 5 years ago that Twin Peaks Revival came out.
Yeah, that's not, I'll have to see that because I'd be curious to see what old
You
Matthew
gotta
Lillard
see the
looks like.
real Twin Peaks first. You gotta
I
go
know, I
finish
know,
the whole.
I know. I have to get back in. I got to get back into like my Lynch phase. It's been a while. But what was it saying? I can't remember. But back to the cast. I think it's perfectly cast. I think Doogie Howser is phenomenal in this, being this little arrogant fucking sci-fi guy, or not sorry, the psychic guy.
Psychic, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
And he just shows up at the end and has all the answers for everything, and it's just like, what the fuck were we doing all this for? Type of moment.
Yeah, but also he's like he's a manipulator. Like we
Yeah.
saw that in the beginning of the movie when Rico was taking the psychic like card tests, and he was missing them all, but then he got one in the end and he lied. Doogie lied and said that he didn't, and then he was doing the thing with the weasel and said he couldn't control humans yet, and then it was indicated later in the movie that he can control humans. So I think the jury's all out on how much, and like those dudes were wearing straight up Nazi SS.
Oh my god,
things.
yeah.
Like just
How nuts is
no. Like it was like as the movie went on, we saw more and more Nazi stuff. The flag in the barracks was like straight up German colors with a big eagle.
Yeah, it was a lot of that like World War I, early World War II, before like the swastika came in, like style of like the German shit with like the eagle stuff but it just like when they straight up roll in.
U.S. It was like U.S. Nazi, like Germany and Brazil, like with some of the colors were like green and blue.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, when they rolled up at the end, when they bring the big worm out, the big mother brain thing out, and they're all in that, I just laugh every time I see it now. Like as an adult, I just laugh so hard because it's just so. If you didn't get it at this point, like if you went the whole movie not really understanding what this is like trying to be, then here it is. Like there's no, it's no longer up for debate if you missed like all of the on the nose signs up to this point. And it's just so funny. It's so well done, and it just the way that it's shot too, just like how everything's just super saturated and colorful, and nothing's like gritty. Just also it's very fun, very playfully lit. Just adds into just the juxtaposition of the brutality.
Yeah, it's very
just,
bright. Other than the battle at night, it's like super bright.
But that's like their first real in the shit moment, so it's like really
it makes
selling.
Sense.
Like
yeah.
And then as Rico's getting more confident and going up, it goes back to more bright stuff, and just like I feel like it's almost it's a what's it called for his perspective as he's going through his the military. I can't think of the right phrasing, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't know, but all right.
As the way things are lit and go reflect how he is perceiving the situation. So it's like all bright and fun in the high school stuff, all bright and fun, and it goes to shit. And then he goes back to tank, he heals up, and then you have like the like in the I keep calling it the Coliseum, but like when they're in that like barracks thing, it's pretty neutral, like it's bright, it's like sunny, but it's not very like overly colorful or saturated or whatever. But then when it goes up to well, no, because I guess before that he blows up the big beetle.
It's pretty colorful. It's just I think it's still the same. It's just that planet was very brown, so everything was dusty. So I think that added like this layer of like washed out some of the colors, but it still popped. Like
when he blows the beetle up, he's covered in bright orange.
This movie purposely wants to stay colorful. It's And now I think that's what makes it age so well aesthetically, is how bright it is. I don't know. It doesn't look old. Like the CG also we were talking about looks awesome
Good.
still.
Oh my, that beetle is so good.
And like it looks like it could be like a Men in Black a monster, but I don't know. The way that they use it is fine. The ships look good. I really thought the special effects were handled in the right way, that it didn't, I mean, this budget, holy shit, I just looked at the budget. $100 million.
That's big.
Yeah, that's really big budget.
Holy fuck.
It made 121, so it made its money, but
not a lot of it.
Not a lot of the 100 million.
This became a cult classic, though. This probably did bangers in DVD sales, and nowadays with Blu-ray or streaming, people can still come back to this. This is because I consider this movie. This should be like entered in one of those like film students should watch this type of thing, just because of it's so unique in what it does.
Yeah, it's really effective, and then just with the re-rise of fascism in the world, I think that it needs to be seen with eyes. My only problem is I think that the satire is it's obvious to me, and I think a lot of people, but I think there are people that are impervious to satire and would see this film as an endorsement of some of those politics. What do you think about that?
In my head I just said something very mean, but I feel like you'd have to be on to not pick up on the satire.
But there are people literally that are like that. People think Homelander is a good guy in The Boys. You haven't watched The Boys.
Yeah, I've seen the first 2 seasons, but yeah, they.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you know then. That's all you need to know. There are people that think Homelander is a good guy in The Boys.
Jesus Christ! I mean, there's probably the same people that think Rick's the hero of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I mean, like they have a hard time separating
comedy from
like anti-heroes and from like, or like the protagonist is a piece of shit, like that doesn't make them a good guy, like the American Psycho guy, like he's the protagonist of the film, but he is not a person you should want to live like. But people love that guy on the internet.
Let's say, yeah, he's having a meme renaissance right now
in the last like handful of years.
Just yesterday on Reddit, I just saw like 4 different memes, all reference, like all with shots from that movie.
Well, like the stock, it started like it was all around the stock bros stuff. But all right, I don't want to get down that hole. This movie is great, and honestly, I would have, if you would have asked me what I would have thought it was, I would have said maybe 3 world, somewhere in there, 3.5, 3. And I feel like every time I watch it, it gets higher. It's a higher score.
I think this is you said Robocop's a nigh perfect film. I'd say that about this. It's so good. I don't have any problems with it. I don't think it feels long per se, but I don't think it feels short, if that makes sense. Like for me, I felt I
felt like I could watch it I feel like this is what we were saying, that I was so into this world and this story and this shit that I could have just watched it forever. Like a show. Like if this was a full season, and this was just like the first 2 episodes of the show, like I would want to we would binge. Like we would have kept going. So I think that is a really good sign. It's like it didn't matter to me how long it was because I was so into it. I wanted it more.
You know what's funny? Speaking of wanting more, when I was younger, Jared and I, when Starship Troopers 2 was at Hollywood Video, we saw it and we rented it and we were so hyped because we both liked the first one, and we put it on at his house, and we're so disappointed that it was none of the original cast. The movie was fucking terrible. It had like no budget. We didn't realize it was a straight to DVD. We didn't realize that was a thing at the time.
Yeah, that's how they got us. There was a whole industry around tricking people into renting things.
Yeah, and apparently the third one, like the guy
Casper's in the third one,
comes back, but I heard it's not good. But I still want to see it just to see what it's like. But if it's not, I don't know who directed it, but if it's not Paul
It's
Verhoeven,
not.
I don't.
He's not involved in any of the sequels. Hell no.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Apparently, the
probably not
writer
worth
though is involved in both sequels. Edward
it.
Newmeyer.
Both sequels, dang! Oh man, the sequel, the second movie is so terrible. I've only seen
Oh
it
my God!
once.
There's five. There's four
There's an animated.
sequels.
Yeah, so there's an
He
animated
wrote them
sequel.
all. He wrote everything related. No, there's one he just executive produced, but three. So apparently it's just his baby. This guy. He wrote RoboCop 1 and RoboCop the reboot.
And he wrote the reboot. Wow, I never reboot, and I can't remember if
I don't like Joel Kinnaman for some reason. So
I only seem to like him in the new Suicide Squad movie. I like him in that, but I haven't really seen anything else that I like him in.
But all right. Yeah. Well, what I think we're ready to score this pupper. What are you giving? This is a hard one, I know, but what are you giving Starship Poopers?
I mean,
fart shit poopers.
If I were to give this a 5, I feel like it's definitely out of my own love for it. Bias,
yeah, I feel like it'd be wrong. I also felt like as much as I'm loving it, it would be wrong to give it a 5. Yeah, it is not. It is clearly not a 5.
Yeah, but man, I stick behind a 4.5 for this.
I'm gonna also give it a 4.5. I think that even though like the cheese and the messiness of some of it just like kind of serves its whole themes even better. Like if that makes sense. Like the slot, that's what I like about messier art is that it's not like it enhances kind of the aesthetic. It kind of makes it a style. It makes it its own thing. And that's what this kind of does. And I mean, I think a lot of it's intentional. Truly, after watching a few of his other films, and I've been looking into Showgirls. I really want to watch Showgirls because it was notoriously horrible and bombed, and now people are like saying that it's actually not that bad, and it's just like another one of his like trash movies that actually have good themes. But yeah, I'm also giving it a 4.5. I honestly was gonna say I would have told you before this, would have gave it a 3.5. Honestly, I thought I liked it better than RoboCop.
Oh, I'd like this better than RoboCop for sure.
But like RoboCop is a classic and feels like a more perfect movie. But I liked Starship Troopers more.
This is so many more layers. It goes way deeper, and that's why I think I like it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But it's just like that acting is worse, and
but I feel like the acting is intentionally bad at this because everything feels so campy, but it feels so intentional.
Oh yeah, because he wants it to feel like a teen thing.
Yeah, and so like I don't think that's bad acting if it's intentional. I feel that makes me feel like, man, they did a really good job. They really nailed what they were going for. Even if those actors aren't great in anything else they've ever done, but at least in this thing, they did amazing.
Yeah, well, like sometimes you just want that for the aesthetic. Like sometimes you want TV style actors for a certain thing you're going for. We're watching Buffy right now, and man, everyone on that show sucks at acting. But it doesn't matter because it's like a pulpy sci-fi horror show. You know, this is pulpy. Pulp is definitely the way the word that we have not used to describe why both of these films are pulpy. They speak to something like I don't know, like this base entertainment thing. But then like the layers that you keep peeling away, and there's more to it and more to it. And then each time I come back to these movies, there are more to it. And that's why I'm a big old fan of Paul Verhoeven. And I am excited. I'm glad we did it. So
yes, it makes me want to watch more stuff. Like go back and like I've never seen the end of Total Recall. I've only seen like the middle. So I'd like to go back and watch that. And what else did he have that was like right around that time?
I want to rewatch Basic Instinct because I haven't since I was a kid. Not a kid, but like later, like younger in life. And then Showgirls, obviously, I said already.
Is there another movie called Striptease that's like similar?
Striptease also is in the 90s. I think that it did better at the box office. It didn't bomb, but it is also a not great movie.
Okay, I think
Demi
I get
Moore, I believe.
Yeah. I get these movies confused. Because every time I hear this, I'm assuming it's striptease.
So
Which I've
there.
seen.
All right. So we need to wrap up here, but there is one thing I did want to mention, that this is our 49th episode. So next episode will be, and we're gonna try to get it out when we can. Is gonna be our 50th episode. 50. We made it. This is far. Well, this is crazy far.
We beat the Pit Bros podcast. That's for sure.
By a lot. 50 episodes. We have a little treat for you. We have a treat for Kory, specifically. But it's a treat for all of you. It is a director that we've already done, but we've only done one film of his, so it's hardly fair. Hardly fair, would you say?
And it was arguably the worst one.
Well, arguably, you're right.
I mean, I don't know what could be worse.
I'm just joshing, but well, I mean, he did make a 4-hour film that I could argue about as well.
I would watch that way more over the
yeah, well, stop. Cease yourself. You can't contain your how much you want to talk about this. As soon as he's even hinted about, you want to start a debate. Everyone on the internet loves talking about this guy. It is none other. See, you're still trying to stick up for him in between of this introduction. You can't resist.
I wasn't a stick up. I was saying I was a debate of which movie was worse. That's not debate, or that's not a defense. They're both bad. Or no, I do like the one movie a lot.
Yeah, see, look at you. Look at you. You can't stop. You're an addict. You're a Zach addict. To them snide. The snides. Zaddy. Zaddy. Yeah, you're a Zaddict, and he is your Zaddy. We're talking about none other than Zach, Mother effing Snyder, and we're gonna be doing.
And we're watching the Owls of Gaul.
We're going straight to the top. I said, "What do you think? Show me his 2 best films. Let's go back." And we decided not to watch Dawn of the Dead remake, and instead we are watching The Watchmen and just Watchmen and 300, which I do think is. I would have thought if you would have asked me what is his best, I would have gut say 300. I watched a really interesting video about 300 lately, so I will be bringing that up as well. Big shouts out to Big Joel.
Nice. One day we'll get around to the for episode 100. If we make it to there, we should do Snyder Cut and Owls of Ga'Hoole. That animated.
I think the Snyder Cut is enough hours for one episode on its own. I don't think I can handle that much snide. I can't handle that much snide in my veins. But all right.
I'm just curious what a kids movie Zack Snyder kids movie is like with the Guardians.
You just can't resist.
I can't resist
talking about Zack Snyder. You're
salivating.
You're salivating. You can see the drool, the spittle on your lips.
I think what it is just like
the way his movies look. He can't stop. He can't
I just
stop.
love.
All right, we're ending the episode.
Are really good. It's just really there's a lot to like. There's a lot to like.
All right, y'all have a good night. Make sure you follow and subscribe on all the things. Leave us a review for those on Apple. On YouTube, you can leave a comment. You can do all those things like subscribe, follow at Best Boys Film Pod. I'm at Slob Thomas. He's at Kory with a Story with a K. He loves Zack Snyder. Anything else for the kids?
Eat your veggies, you piece of shit.
All right. You heard it here. Good night, everybody.
See you.